This is a lot for a lot of. It took me a while, and same with albums. But you kind of, like I said, you put in your preoccupations and all your obsessions and all your everything that you're worried about, and I think it all goes into whatever comes out whenever you write anything, and I'm sure you have that experience, that after you're finished with something, you look back and you think, you realize how kind of naked you were, kind of standing there. Hopefully, you look good. But I realized, like, finishing this book, that there was the angel who is a real main character, although it's not even clear whether he's an angel or not. The angel who Henry Bright speaks to and who is the person who is goading Henry Bright along on this trip through the wildfire and through the war and through fatherhood and through marriage is like every kind of angel that we have, in that we see in the Bible. In popular culture, I think we see angels as something that are sort of more benign, kind of desktop calendar angels, the one where there's an angel and he's guiding these little children past a well. Those sorts of angels are the ones you hear about that are on kind of late night evangelical radio, which are friendlier, and there to help us at all times. But when you actually look at it, when an angel shows up in the Bible or in most other religions, that's not always and rarely a good situation. It means you've been kicked out of the Garden of Eden, or all the firstborn of your entire country are going to die. You've been told you're pregnant with the future king of heaven. Things are about to hit the fan. And but I really love, and I realize that I've been working on the idea of the angel forever in my songs, like that the angel is always telling us things that don't really jive with everything else that we're being told. They're sort of the ones that come in and stir things up, and often they talk in dreams, or they talk from a darkened corner, or they show up in the sky in a big gang that you're not going to disagree with, with eyes on their wings and swords, and just generally not the type of person you'd always want to hang out with. So I was really interested in the angel and the angel's place in Henry Bright's mind and who he believes the angel to be. And I've been working on that for a while in songs, and it's just really interesting to see that it kind of came out in this way, and without really, it's interesting to me to see that it came out in this way without really thinking about it. And what I've learned, I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed the character of the angel. I worked on this book. After the first 2 months, I started to meet with people, and I met with an editor, Noah Eaker, at Random House, and he became, as a musician who's worked a lot, working on albums and writing songs and then taking them and working with somebody to help craft them into something that will form an album. I think I was used to working with a producer, Sam Kassir, who's in my band and is also my longtime friend and producer, whose parents are here tonight. Sam is what I think of as he's been an amazing editor and someone who poses problems. That's what I think an editor does and a producer does, is they look into your heart and they see how the little tiny baby fawn in there that they could crush if they wanted to, and then they find ways to not crush it, and that is what an editor does as well. Is they see what the spark of what you've got, and then they try and help it along without altering the vision that you have. They give you problems to solve, And so working with this book from the second or third draft on, up through about 10 drafts, just trying to winnow down and figure things out, I was really excited to work with a producer, you know, an editor who was so interesting, and we would meet and have drinks and talk about just the best way, and he would pull out his blue pencil, and my work would slowly fall to shreds. And I would start over, and I would order another beer. I would like to read you a second section. This is Henry Bright, his home from the war. This war, the First World War, and he has fallen into a daily routine with his new wife and the angel. His wife doesn't really hear the angel or know the angel's around, but Bright talks to his horse regularly when she's not there. And so this is Henry Bright and his angel walking down the road. Rachel doted on that mangy old horse. She searched out tart wild apples, brought up thistles and fistfuls of stinging nettles and mint from downstream where the ground turned marshy. As September oranged into October and such treats became harder to find, she would harry Bright for bags of sweet dried corn when he went to town, so that she might hold handfuls of it lovingly under the horse's greedy snout. Sometimes, in the wood smoke blue mornings, he would watch her leaning against its warm flank, one arm thrown up and across its withers, whispering into its ear as she ran his mother's ivory comb through the animal's forelock. Despite all the girl's attentions, however, the horse's thickening pelt took on a shagged, greasy appearance that, along with its baleful gaze and consumptive ribs, made it look like some moss-covered mule wandered in from a fairy tale. "She spoils you, and I don't know what for," he said to the back of the horse's head one early morning after the first frost. "I don't know what kind of hold you got on her." Horse and man were on the road to Fell's Corner for supplies and dried corn. "And don't pretend you don't hear me, because I know you hear me." "Henry Bright, you have a beautiful wife." "I know it. I married her, didn't I?" "No need to sound so jealous. I helped you, so it's only right that you should share her with me." "Help nothing," Bright laughed atop the animal. "I had to drag you inside that goddamn house, remember? If you were going to steal her and marry her on her own, you could have done it the minute you thought of it, and with my blessing too. But you couldn't, could you? You didn't even have no hands. What if there was a doorknob or something?" "Henry Bright." "Keep it," Bright snapped. "I'm telling you, whatever sweet talking you're doing to my wife, to quit it. She don't need those kind of distractions right now. We're going to have a baby." "The child has been conceived?" "That's what I said, isn't it? So quit what other mischief you said you got in your mind for her, and remember the promise that you made to me." "Which was?" "Which was, you were going to keep her and the baby safe from the colonel and his boys like you done for me in the war. Remember when you said all that? That you'd protect us and the future king of heaven and all that?" "When did it happen?" "What?" "When was the child conceived?" "What the hell does that matter? It got conceived, didn't it? Don't try to change the subject. You going to keep your promise to me or what?" "We have done well." "What do you mean, we?" The angel said nothing but clomped along thoughtfully. "Angel?" Bright snapped the reins. "Angel, what do you mean, we? You ain't done nothing yet, Angel." "Angel?" Receiving no answer, he sprang from the saddle and stood in the horse's path, bringing it to a halt before him. "I'd hit a horse," he said. "You probably think I wouldn't, but I would."